This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Thursday, August 29th, 2024. I'm Marek Mazurek. After more than a year of construction, Manchester University is celebrating the completion of a nearly $20 million expansion of its Fort Wayne campus. The project added more than 32,000 square feet of space to the university's health science hub, including physical therapy, teaching labs, and a nursing simulator. Manchester is also naming the walk-in clinic at the facility, which is open to everyone in the community, after former President Dave McFadden, who retired last year and led the effort to bring the expanded facility to life. Current President Stacey Young told Inside Indiana Business the expansion was necessary as the Fort Wayne facility had simply run out of space.
Initially, that building was built just for our pharmacy program, and adding these new programs in was taxing our space a little bit. We had the opportunity to grow our space right there on that same campus, and so that's exactly what we did. And they were able to do a wonderful job of incorporating kind of our old with our new, and so we just now have one big, beautiful space. And, my hope is that we're able to offer additional programming at that campus.
Manchester officials say the expansion was designed with interdisciplinary collaboration in mind, as well as a need to grow the health sciences workforce. Japan-based Nippon Steel plans to invest $300 million in U.S. Steel's Gary Works operation if its $14.1 billion acquisition of the Pittsburgh-based steelmaker is completed as planned. Nippon said Wednesday that the investment would revamp the blast furnace number 14 at Gary Works, extending the facility's operational life by up to 20 years. The company is also investing $1 billion in its Mon Valley Works facility in Pennsylvania. U.S. Steel announced the proposed sale to Nippon in December of 2023. The deal has received much scrutiny from the U.S. Steelworkers Union as well as President Joe Biden. In a statement Wednesday, USW leaders continue to criticize Nippon, saying, quote, "A press release is not a contract," end quote. Nippon said the investment in Gary Works is subject to the closing of the acquisition, which is expected to occur by the end of the year, pending U.S. regulatory approvals and customary closing conditions. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to the Engage Indiana series, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. With an unrelenting focus on growing Indiana's economy, we'll dive into each region's unique challenges and distinct opportunities for growth. 9 regions, 1 goal. Indiana's bold future starts here. Discover more and register at ibj.com/engage.
Hardware store cooperative Do It Best on Wednesday reported a 4% decline in year-over-year sales for the fiscal year of 2024. The privately held Fort Wayne-based company reported total sales of nearly $4.6 billion, down from $4.8 billion last year. The company had projected flat sales for this fiscal year, according to a news release. The company said less than expected demand due to higher interest rates and heightened competition affected sales. Other hardware retailers experienced similar market pressures. In August, Home Depot and Lowe's each reported a decline in second quarter sales and projected full-year sales declines of up to 4%. The Lilly Endowment has awarded Project Lead the Way a 3-year, $5 million grant for STEM education at K-12 schools across the state. Indiana elementary, middle, and high schools are eligible to apply for funding to offset Lead the Way program costs. Funding will be applied towards teaching training in the organization's curriculum, supplies, and professional development. Project Lead the Way is currently in over 900 schools across Indiana. Lacey Johnson leads this year's class of Diversity in Law honorees by the Indiana Lawyer. The Diversity in Law program recognizes attorneys and judges who actively work to promote different forms of diversity within the legal profession. Johnson is a partner at Taft, Stettinius & Hollister. Johnson served in the Indiana Police and U.S. Naval Intelligence Reserves prior to his legal career. He was then president of the Indianapolis Airport Authority. More recently, he sat on the Biden-Harris transition team and was a member of Vice President Kamala Harris's Midwest finance team. A full list of honorees can be found at theindianalawyer.com. South Bend Mayor James Mueller is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast, hosted by Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Marek Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.